Okay, we're going to try and dive deeper into the astrology for January of 2016. So for some of you out there, this will be a little heady. For some of you that are wanting to learn astrology, it can be really informative. So I hope you enjoy this and as we start to play with this a little bit. January 2016. We're going to start with Mars is in Scorpio. Now, most of this year, or at least for the next 7 months, this is going to be asking you to go deep into your soul. This brings out that deep, dark warrior within. Be prepared that the world you are going to see is a lot of external fighting from the internal conflicts that people have been feeling. You may notice the same thing coming out in a personal way. The deeper the inner world wants to come out, this is an intense astrological aspect. So for many of you, this will feel hard and difficult to navigate because there is a strong desire to aggressively go in the direction of what you want, and you don't care who might get in the way. For some of you, that type of feeling is not a pleasant thing to see inside yourself. Expect others to be challenging to deal with, as everyone feels they need to push hard to get what they want. If you are going to get anywhere, you are going to have to push back in some way. You can use this Mars and Scorpio energy to metaphorically sort of kill off your old reality. Mars in Scorpio, Mars likes to be in Scorpio. It's actually a good place for it to be, but it really can be a profoundly changing and learning experience to move with the aggressive masculine energy of Mars in Scorpio if you are willing to be that warrior that needs to break you out of this paralyzing stuckness that has blocked you from opening. With Saturn in Sagittarius, the universe is asking you to find your positivity. It is asking you to move beyond the obvious and into the higher human potential that does not require rules and spiritual books. It is that place where deep inside you, you know what is right and you know what is wrong. You know when you have hurt others and when you are doing something for the greater good. Do you really think that you need someone at this moment in your life to tell you what your deepest self already knows? Of course not. But you have to not be caught in the mindless herd mentality of fear and hate. You have to step into the place of courage and do what is right, not because you have been told what to do, but because deep in your core, you know what needs to be done. And it is what your soul requires in action from your human experience. This month of January requires extreme and deep courage to move through successfully. For each of you, it will be difficult, but the challenge will feel huge regardless. January 5th, Mercury goes retrograde, and it is for a short time in Aquarius. Then on January 8th, Mercury is going to enter Capricorn, and that makes us ground into the earth more and deal with what is right in front of us. All the Mercury retrogrades this year are actually in earth signs, forcing us to get really real and really grounded. Then on January 7th, Jupiter begins its retrograde, and it will be retrograde until May 9th. Mercury and Jupiter are the two planets that deal with the mind. Jupiter is about the higher mind, and then Mercury is more like the daily operational mind, and both are retrograde at the same time or within a day or two of each other. This is letting you know that your mind is going to be tested, so you need to pay attention to what you think throughout January. You're being asked to adjust your mind around hopes, beliefs, and perspective. It is time to begin to reap the benefits of what you have been working on and what you have created in your life. This month is all about staying in touch with the fabric of your life, the normal day-to-day patterns, getting the things done that need to be done. If you play this right, you could start to see the changes that you have been trying to make actually begin to work. And by the end of this year, even better. Jupiter in Virgo, starting in September of 2015, has really forced all of us to get clear about a lot of basic things in our life. Just remember that Jupiter retrograde does not normally bring new expansion, new people, or new circumstances. So what that means is that everything that you are looking for right now is in your environment and in your immediate vicinity. You don't need to go anywhere to find what you need. Everything is really close. So there is nothing really new happening, but you can expand into the areas that are already happening. Virgo is about the harvest time. So it is time to harvest what fruits have happened from your labors over the last year. This is not a time to plant seeds or to want an entirely new crop to happen. So what is hard about this Mercury retrograde is that the fruits that you have are the fruits that you have. So there's not going to be more or less. It is just going to be what it is. On January 9th, there's a new moon in Capricorn, and it is happening at the exact time that Jupiter is going retrograde. I find things like that sort of fascinating. But it is also squaring Uranus, and the sun is not the best place for the first week or so. The sun is not in the best place for the first week or so in January. The sun is being squared by Uranus. It is being conjuncted by Pluto. So there is a kind of chronic, neurotic stress energy that is making everyone look at his or her deepest, darkest parts. Mercury is retrograde, Jupiter is retrograde. It's all a bit dark as far as I'm concerned, but this is where you have to reach deep inside and find the hope. Thank goodness that the new moon is in Capricorn and it is trining Jupiter. This says to stay on the trail and to stay in the direction that is laid out in front of you. Attitudes will improve if you stay busy and stay within a set routine that gives some sort of structure. The aspect to Chiron says that some deep healing is necessary right now, and Venus is on top of Saturn, making things less than simple, and the whole process is definitely not very fun. Saturn in Sagittarius tries to rain on Venus's party, so nothing feels yummy during this time. January 13th is a big day because of the sun trine Jupiter. The moon is on Chiron, Venus is square the moon and on Chiron, and this creates the moment when the Mercury-Sun conjunction on the next day will magnify a mood of needing to be a little crazy or the need to go overboard to get noticed. If you want to have fun, but you will feel like you're getting run over by a truck if you're not careful. So you want to change, but you have to be responsible for that change. And in order to do it all, you might have to take a few punches in the face, and you might be feeling a bit wounded, but you can't just sit there. You have to find the deep courage in the midst of things feeling like a big downer. I think that's when the test for courage really happens. So how do you do that? How do you find the courage when you're really down? The answer is Saturn. So Saturn is teaching you to dig down and discover what you truly believe. Sometimes only when you are really down and you finally don't care any longer about what others think, then you finally do what your heart wants to do. And in that moment, there is nothing left to lose. Why not go for it? On January 20th, the sun enters Aquarius, and that is a bit of a quirky and crazy astrological sign, though some crazy might help a bit. What this will do is pull you out of the dumps of Saturn and make you just a bit wacky enough to do something out of the ordinary. The moment you do that, more energy will come in and things will get interesting in a different way. Mercury squares Uranus, and Mercury starts to go retrograde on top of Pluto, and then Mercury stops on top of Pluto. Yeah, oh dear. Are you ready for this? I'm not sure I am. I want you to think of Pluto as the boundary line, the goal line. Uranus is electricity, and it shocks you into awakening. Your mind is going to go through a big shift. And this is going to be a bit crazy, insane, unpredictable, and at the very least, a radical moment when you finally figure something out. You might want to take a huge change. Might want to make a huge change. You might want to quit a job. You might want to move houses. For sure, you want to have more fun and than you are having at that moment, but you are going to have to deal with the craziness that's in your own brain. And it's time to make sure that you use this energy for awakening and you don't allow others to stop the expansion by putting you down in some way. You want to figure out the new rules, but how do you get along with the energies that you want to experience and stay within the rules? That's sort of difficult. There's a genius if you can manage to do both. On January 20th and into the 25th, you should expect people to say crazy stuff to you that will be shocking, bizarre, unusual. You're searching for answers, but those answers might seem stranger than you thought. On January 23rd, Venus enters Capricorn, and there is going to be a full moon in Leo. This is where I get to say thank God because I'm a Leo, which is designed to bring hope back into the mix, which in the dark of winter and me being a Leo out of season is really important. Now, I'm just saying that this day is really helpful because there's so much intensity going on, but this aspect is designed to give you a bit of a light and clarity around this enormous shift that is revolutionizing your outer world because your inner self is finally coming out of all those cracks in your armor. Remember, this is a dark, cold, wintry time, which is difficult to work with. Mercury is in Aquarius, that's a cold winter sign, and it feels alien and detached. Mars is in Scorpio, again, a cooler sign and a dark energy. Then Jupiter in its weakest point is also retrograde. So it makes all the hope go away. And a new moon is in Capricorn, again, a winter sign. Venus is in Capricorn, again, a winter sign, cold and dark. And the sun will come into Aquarius, a cold air sign. Venus is going into Sagittarius, making some difficult aspects with the Neptune in Pisces. So emotions are sort of running helter-skelter all over the place. On January 25th, Mercury finally comes out of retrograde, though it is still in the shadow for 3 more weeks. But by the end of the month, Mars in Scorpio is antagonizing and pushing that Mercury-Pluto energy, and it's going to be sort of intense. Mercury is in the middle of this storm, even after it stops going retrograde. From the 19th to the 31st, expect a lot of strange conversations spouting off and causing chaos in yourself and in the world you believed you lived in. This month is about finding the courage and finding within the places of hope that, yes, you can break through the fear. Yes, you can step beyond your DNA and programming. And yes, you can discover the well of strength inside that is willing to break out of the karmic traps that have held you for so tightly in a noose and not letting your life have breath. This month, there is a potential for extreme discoveries and worldly ones. It's going to be exciting to see how this manifests. Whether those discoveries are inside yourself or in the external world, I don't know. But there's going to be something that takes you beyond your old reality and into a very new one. Don't be afraid to go deep and take the risk to step out and away from your old self to see what is going to be revealed. Find the energy and turn it into a direction that really serves you and who you are becoming. You need to find those that you can grow with and evolve with. You just need to step up and step into your life. It is your life. Go ahead and take it. So that concludes the astrological aspects for January of 2016. I hope all of you enjoyed that. Bye.